Hi. Let's see if this works. Okay, so let me uh, where is perfect. Okay, let me try and make a recording of this. All right, so I am looking at the Pangeo Docker images. Um, they are a little bit complex, and I just want to go through and have a better understanding of what is happening to them so that I can document it afterwards to make sure that it's easier for other people as well as for me in the future. So this is the Pangeo Docker image. Sorry about the noise, it's construction next door. But basically, They are used by Jupyter Hubs, but also by a lot of other people for, like you can see, they're like fairly well used. Pangeo notebook is the most popular one, I think. And yeah, they contain a lot of the software that is the Pangeo stack. And I think it's pretty nice that you can just use it. But anyway, I just made a clone of that here. So I'm going to go through and use these. Sorry. So there are four lights. No, there are four images here. Let me look at the rendered page. That's better. 4 pages: base image, base notebook, Pangeo notebook, and ML notebook. And I think I'm also going to just start like a document of to do that I can just add, like, like various pieces of documentation that I should do. So let's see, it's add a inheritance diagram, because I know that base notebook inherits from base image, and then Pangeo notebook inherits from base notebook. And I think ML notebook inherits from Pangeo notebook, and that's not clear from looking at this, right? So I think having a small diagram would be very helpful here. But add inheritance diagram of the images. All right. So let's look at base notebook. Sorry, base image. Oh, move the to do outside. Okay, so this is the Docker file for that, and I'm going to go through and look at each line. So start with Ubuntu 2004, just the last LTS. I'm guessing when 2204 comes out in a few months, it'll be updated to that. And they're trying to keep some of this as much as possible in sync with the repo of Docker, because before switching to a Docker file, that's what this repository was built out of. So that means pinning the conda version, the name of the notebook environment. So there are multiple conda environments possible in the image, and they want to keep the name of the conda environment the same as what repo Docker uses. The username and the user ID being used should match. The shell, so otherwise, like sometimes by default Docker puts you in bin sh, not bin bash. So things like tab complete or even the up and down arrow keys don't work, and that catches a lot of people by surprise. Then lang is c.utf8. I don't actually know why it's c.utf8 and not just utf8. I don't know, so that's something to be investigated. Let's find out. Let's investigate. Why is lang and see all c.utf8 and not just utf8? Locale in lang is always a bit of a mess. I don't really know how it works. And conda is srv/conda rather than opt/conda, because that's where repo Docker puts it, which is in hindsight a mistake I made very early on. So, and then more environment variables. NB Python prefix is something that repo Docker sets that points to the Python prefix containing the notebook environment. And task root config, I'm guessing, is something that task sets. Let's see, let's look for task root config environment variable. I don't know why this is in base image. It should be elsewhere, but task root config. All right. Yes, it is where you look for config, and it is under conda and not under /etc. So this means that this conda is owned by UID 1000. It means that users can actually write to their dashboard config, which you cannot if it's under /etc, because that's owned by root. And then home is again just home/Jovian. I think this is what's going to end up being. And we then just adding everything in conda in our conda installation, which doesn't exist yet, by the way, just if you're going by the Docker files, into path. So that when you type Python, and it comes before path. So when you type Python, it actually first, searches an order, and it will find the Python inside the conda directory, and then let's see. So let's see. And then we create the notebook user and a notebook group. and then do the activate, like, activate conda in when bash starts. So it's like etc profile dot de. Any shell files here will be started whenever bash starts. But this is not that this is just for bash. Repo Docker uses a different entry point to do this. And I guess, I don't know, this just contra does some other magic things that I don't really know about. And then it also just makes the SRV directory fully readable and writable by the non-root user that we just created, so that users can add files there and install things and whatnot. This again sets another environment variable and argument, which is Debian fronted is non-interactive. It's you basically need it so that Debian doesn't ask you for, like, when you do apt-get install, it doesn't just tell you to, like, oh, like, just just like select something interactively 1 2 3 4 5, like time zones, for example, right? Like, you don't want, when you get apt-get installed, you don't want it to actually just like pause, right? Otherwise, the building will just fail. So you're installing a couple of basic packages. They are here in 2 lines. I think we can make them into 1 line to make that be quicker. I will make a PR with this. And then we are sending 2 to DevNull. I don't know why that's happening. I would say that you should only send 1 to DevNull. 2 is standard error and 1 is standard out, I guess. And if you send standard out to DevNull, that actually saves a lot of, like, random output that you don't actually care about. So I don't know, should see. But let's write to do investigate why is DevNull in apt-get step. All right, and then here we are installing MiniForge. And Repo Docker has moved to Mamba Forge, so that's something to pick it up from here later. Here we are getting conda and then installing Mamba, and then deleting. So this just installs this line installs conda, and then we install Mamba in this line, and then we actually delete a bunch of unused files just to clean up some space and make this smaller. There's like a blog post from someone whose name I forgot on how to make your conda Docker images smaller, and this is one of the things that it suggests that you do. And this is just the base image. Like, so everything here is just done. Like, there isn't anything else that happens at the base image itself. And then here's all the on-build magic that I think like just makes it a little bit more confusing for users, because on-build is not a very common Docker file, not EDM director. So basically what this means is that none of these will actually be run during the current, like, Docker build. So if you're just building the file, if you're just building the file of like this, like if you're just building the base image, none of these directives will run. But if you inherit another image like base notebook from this base image, then all of these things that are under on build will run there, right? So this is really like, you're like only run these in child images and not in the base image. So that is, this construction isn't the right next department. It's going to drive me nuts, but that's all right. So anyway, so this I think is what like I think makes a lot of people feel like, oh, what the fuck's going on here? But it's actually quite reasonable once you get to know what this is. So basically, like you have to think of all of these as like, okay, in anything that inherits from here, such as base notebook or Pangeo notebook, imagine that all of these directives, are basically just copy pasted onto the Docker files of the inherited notebooks. Inherited Docker file, inherited images, right? And this is just, it's in one place. So, because otherwise you have to like, do funny things with, I don't know, like have a separate build step or some Python scripts or something that will need to be used to do like to actually um, make sure that these are in sync. So anyway, let's go through and see what is happening here. So first is we are turning back in the root, and then we are copying everything from dot, which is the current directory, into the home directory, and calling it, and then making sure it's owned by Jovian user and not by root, which is the default. It says it's hard coded, but it should really be using the NB user. So let me see, investigate why is Jovian hard coded and not using NB user? Because if you go back up here, we have said NB user is Jovian, so that should be used. I don't know why not. Can figure it out later. And then we are trying to. So this repository tries to recreate a little bit of what is done by repo to Docker. So it looks for a binder or dot binder folder. And then, like it's like if you have an environment.yaml file or something like that, or an app.txt or something like that in, inside the child image. Like for example, let's actually look at this like this. Look, if you look at base notebook, right, which is inherited, if you look at the Docker file here, it just inherits from the base image, right? So basically, all we do is we do that, and then we add, like a environment.yaml file, or like a post build file and like whatnot, and they just are picked up because we have all of this code. So this piece of code is all just bash. It's just like a slightly, it's not particularly complex bash, but I hate bash for scripting, but that's what we just have here. It's all right. So it just looks, so this is just, are you looking for a binder directory existing? Then we just say, okay, using binder, or of a dot binder, then yeah, or we're just using like the home directory. And then, so all of these will have like these two lines, which is basically like, okay, I'm looking for a binder or dot binder directory. And if it is, I'm going to be operating from inside that. And here is if there's an app.txt file, we do apt-get update. And then we basically use exargs, which lets you take every single file from every single line from a text file like this, like app.txt, and then run a command, in this case, apt-get install-y. So what this means is if you have an app.txt file with two lines, say vim and emacs, then exargs will run two commands. It will first run apt-get install-y vim, and then apt-get install-y emacs. So I'm sure this can be optimized more if you want, but regardless, that mostly works. And then we switch to using the local user because they don't need to be root. And then basically, if there is a lock file, so a lock file, as this is like, I'm guessing the conda lock file format, it pins to very specific exact versions of all of the packages that are used in a particular environment.yaml file. So if you look at this environment.yaml file, it basically says Python 3.8 and then the Pangeo notebook package, the conda package that will install Dask and whatever else is needed. And then, it's just like, okay, this is all the list of files that this is all the exact list of packages that will be installed. So this means that when you rebuild it, even if you do it at different times, it will still install the exact same version. So it's just like fully reproducible. And so it was just using the log file to create the environment if it exists. And if the log file doesn't exist, it uses the environment.yaml file. And if neither of them exists, then it just installs the Pangeo notebook default file, default package. So this is a package that exists in Conda Forge. I think if I Pangeo notebook Conda Forge, you can see that this is just a package that it's a meta package that installs a bunch of other things, right? So and then then it's just cleaning a bunch of like things so that we reduce the total amount of the image size. And then again, we look for a requirements.txt file, and then we install anything that's there. And then we look for a post build file, and if such a thing exists, we run that as well. And then if there is a start file, then that is used as the entry point. Entry point is what is used to actually run. I mean, when it's, you'll just look up entry points and Docker files. I'm not going to go into that too much. So this is basically all the magic, right? And then if you look at base notebook, it just has just this like inherit from base image, doesn't do anything else. And then it's like, all right, this is the basic environment that we're going to install. And I need to find out how these are produced though, right? Because something is taking this environment.yaml file and then producing this so that it's like locked, right? So because if you look at the base image, you will see from this line that if there is a conda /linux/4.lock file, that's what's used. Environment.yaml file is not used at all, actually. So you should figure out what's happening here. And post build is just installing a couple of Jupyter Lab extensions, which I think is no longer needed because these I think just come from Jupyter Lab now. So let's see. To do remove post build for Jupyter Lab extensions. Okay, and then what's happening in start? This is some, I don't even want to go into this. It's just, let's not ignore that. It's just trying to do scratch buckets. I'm not going to go to that now. Okay. And then, if you look at the Pangeo notebook, which is what most everyone uses, it's again, the Docker file is just empty, just using base image. So base notebook is not inheriting from base Pangeo notebook is not inheriting from base notebook. That's useful to know. It's not. They are all just inheriting from base image. All right. So environment.yaml, there is a bunch of other packages here, but again, they are just locked. And app.txt installs just git and vim and tree, which I guess is things that people want. And there is a bunch more Jupyter Lab extensions that are installed. And a particular package is installed from pip instead of from conda. And this is just like a continuation. Like this is why if Pangeo notebook had inherited from base notebook, this would have to be repeated, but that's all right. And ML notebook, I'm guessing, is also basically the same. It just inherits from base image. It also uses the conda RC to get the stuff from the default conda channel rather than just conda forge, I'm guessing for some GPU stuff. And if you look at here, it is also like, I am guessing, yeah, see there's some TensorFlow GPU stuff that's happening here that I'm sure is why that is in this. Post build is just more, it's a different set of Jupyter Lab extensions. So update log file level such. So this is how this is happening. Okay, I see. So the conda log files are really just being produced by, so it expects there to be an environment called conda log. And then it basically just uses the conda log package. So conda log is a command line tool, see this, that will just take an environment.yaml file and produce the log file for you. And that's how those log files are generated. Okay. And then I guess there's the make file, right? This is what is actually being called by the CI, so it actually goes and calls, like, just, okay, the cd, like, this is how you produce base notebook. It requires that base image is built. This is like make file syntax. And so, so if you want to say make Pangeo notebook, it's like, all right, first let's go make base notebook, which will go here, and then it'll build Docker, build Pangeo base image master inside base image. So because, if you look at base notebook, it's, it relies on base image being built. So it goes and does that. And yeah, then, that's it's just building all of these on master. There must be something that is doing the tagging. Let's get back to that later. But let's look at this. This is I guess, okay. All right, let's implement some of these changes, actually, why don't we? So I want to write a bunch of documentation now, right? So, but before that, let's actually just make a how do I hide this bar? Okay. All right, so g stash gco master, you put string master. gco dash b quieter images. Okay, it's all right. I will where is this base image? Oh wow, there's like more custom stuff here that I haven't checked before. It looks like there's a special config for Jupyter Notebook config.py for when they want to do that. Oh, okay, okay. I had to update. Oh my God, I wasn't looking at recent master. Okay. Well, most of everything looks the same except the things I wanted to do, which is particularly, just get rid of the post build file. They've already gotten rid of it, which is great. So let's say this is done, and let's see. Anything else? Okay. Oops. Okay. I've just redirected standard out, right? Let null. Xargs, let's let that be. So, okay. Okay. Let me just I go hi, right? So I just want to make sure that 2- does what I think it does. Yeah, I mean, you want to see the errors, right? But you don't want to see the regular output. So let's see, I'll just make a PR. Okay. Install basic packages in one go. Install base packages in one go rather than in 2 lines. This is slightly faster. Hide steady out from apt-get install from base image and from apt-get update, but not for packages from app.txt. Earlier stdr was being hidden, but that is useful. Oh my God, I need to get out of this house. This is a problem when I'm actually living in the US, getting out of the house. Ah, earlier stdr was being hidden, but that is useful when package installation actually fails. Okay, so now I'm going to okay, not this. Great. Nobody is viewing this. I don't even know if this is actually live, right? I've never done this before, so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm doing is, oh yeah, it's still going. Great. Okay. So okay, this one's done. Okay, what else was I going to do? I mean, like, I think of this as somewhat not particularly super difficult, right? Like, I think this is reasonably all right. I think the really important parts are what the fuck is this conda Linux file, and then what the fuck is packages.txt, right? And what the fuck are these on build things, right? But they're all pretty cool. But I agree that it would be nice. This is the environment I think that's used to actually make the log files happen. But anyway, I think this is all great. This is, I think, pretty happy. And let's see. Done. Okay, done. Maybe I can make a mermaid diagram. Let's see. Mermaid diagram. GitHub. Okay. Like, what do I, where, I don't want to put this in the README. I think maybe I'll put it in a contributing file. I mean, this is also the wrong thing, I think, but like, that's all right. Or maybe let's go. What I just actually do this here, right? Yeah, I think it's important to document this. Let's see, try and figure out how to do that. Okay. Base image for all Docker file for base image, all Pangeo images, sets up non-root user login for, see, this is, I don't know how to write documentation clearly. Yeah, right. Like, I mean, this is a bit like, right. So let me just, where's on build? There we go. Let me just print to this. We use on build to actually construct to support certain files that when present in the directories of our child images, such as base notebook, Pangeo notebook, etc. to support triggering certain behavior and specific files exist. This is to mimic the repo Docker behavior where users can just add environment YAML requirements.txt, app.txt, etc. files to get certain behavior without having to understand how Docker files work. We use on build to support a subset of the files that repo Docker supports. Okay. Repo Docker will load files from a .binder or binder directory if present. This image this image also does that. We check if those directories exist and if printer diagnostic message here. I don't think this is necessary because this is already set. So I'm going to remove that. I'm just going to extra What's that? Did this bot really just like uh give itself a rocket emoji after posting it on its own? Oh my god, bot's having it. Anyway, let me just add some context here. We do not use repo Docker itself here to make the images much smaller and easier to reason about. Each uh, app.txt file, if it exists, like repo Docker, blank lines nor comments are supported here. If a Jupyter notebook exists, copy it to etc Jupyter, so it will be read by Jupyter processes when they start. This feature is not available in repo Docker. I really think this shouldn't be in etc Jupyter. I think this should go under Conda, but that's all right. If there is a Conda lock, Conda 64.lock file, generated by Conda lock, we want to keep our images as reproducible as possible. We do if a lock file with exact versions of all required packages is present, we use it to install packages. Conda lock is used to generate this Conda Linux 64.lock file. Is used to generate this Conda lock file from a given environment.yaml file. So we get the exact same versions each time the image is built. This also lets us see what packages have changed between two images by just diffing, I don't like the word just, by diffing the contents of the lock file by diffing the context of the log file between those image versions. If a log file is not present, we use the environment YAML file and your notebook Conda forge. And if that is also not present, we use the Pangeo notebook Conda forge package to install a list of base packages. Okay, and then there's also the cleanup, right? Like conda docker images lean. This Jim, of course, is the person who wrote it. After installing the packages, we clean up some unnecessary files to try reduce image size. And then a link there that will help. What is this? I don't know why that's here. Predune everywhere. Install. If a requirements.txt file exists, use pip to install packages listed there. We primarily use an environment. Okay. Okay. If a post build file exists, run it after setting run it. After it's done, we try to remove any extra dirs, any possible craft commands that leave behind under home, particularly stuff that Jupyter Lab extensions leave behind. Since all right. I just want to come see if anyone's watching, got my ego. I don't think anyone's watching though. Oh, yeah, Ryan is watching it. Okay. Let me go back to this. Okay. If a start file exists, put that under a restart. It is used as entry point and equivalent to start. And just copy paste docs from repo docker for some of these things. Used in the same way as a start file in repo docker. Better, right? We don't want to save cached wheels in the image. So to avoid wasting space, I'm just going to call it no cache because the cache there is no longer required. See, this is it's so funny. This uses test-f, and this uses test-f, and oh, they all use test-f. But why is this -d? This is the same as test, so I don't know why that's anyway. That's something that we can because then there's okay, never mind. It's just this is the thing, right? Like this is like if conditionals in Bash, I hate that have a complex relationship with Bash. Let's say when you're scripting, especially in stuff like this, it can become very opaque. And for people who are not used to it, because you're really just embedding Bash inside Docker, inside Docker files, right? And then it can get a bit messy and kind of weird. So I understand why people don't want to do it. I also don't like doing it, but it can also be cool, like how this is. I think this is pretty cool. So when was this sent? I don't know. 11 people watch me. All right, so I'm just going to let me see. I'm going to close this. Oh, see my computer slowing down again because I have YouTube open, which I will go and close. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna add some more documentation actually. It's all right. I will add this in a commit. I'm gonna run this. This I will add in a separate commit. Okay. Document what the on build commands do in line. Okay. Why is this two separate ones? Let's make it into one. Okay. Yeah, why don't I take I think it might be useful to put these into two, where one is things that are set by repo Docker as well, and one is not. So because I know that everything is set up the same as repo Docker except for this, right? So set up same environment variables, most like set up environment to match variables set by repo Docker as much as possible. Right, and that's all of those. And then ask Dask to read config from /etc rather than the default of /etc, since users can write, since the non-root Jovian user can write to conda /etc, but not to. I actually don't know if this is required, but I can check. Let me actually look at repo Docker. I think Debian frontend is also set by repo Docker. It is set by repo Docker. See, repo Docker does set. See, it says avoid prompts format. So see, like it's ENUS UDF8 is what repo Docker sets, but okay, one step at a time. One step at a time. looking at what am I looking at? Okay. I want to document all of these though. I don't know how to do that. Let me split. Okay. They're not necessary. Wow, they're just downloading the latest, huh? So that's not reproducible. It's all right, but let's do this one step at a time. The name of the conda environment to which the default into which requested packages are installed. And then this one says tell apt-get to not ask for interactive, not block installs by asking for interactive human input. That username and UID, UID and GID, same as UID of non-root user. The container will be run as set default shell to bin bash, not bin sh. No, use bin bash as shell, not the default bin sh. Arrow keys, etc. don't work. Set up locale to be UTF-8, avoiding nolly, hard to debug coding errors. Install conda in the same place, repo docker does prefix to the path to the Python environment where the notebook where the Jupyter notebook packages are installed. Home directory of our non-root user. Put search both our notebook and well as default. Okay. To path. Okay. And that will work. Don't know if this self-commenting works though. Let's see, I'm going to just try and do a quick build. I have like a remote Docker thingy setup that I'm going to try and use. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Great. Create a group for the user to be part of. GID same as UID. Create non-root user with given GID, UID, and create home. I think they should be separate. I don't actually think they should be here, but let's not deal with that right now. Make sure that SRV is owned by non-root user. So we can, this thing is there. Run conda activate on each time a bash shell starts, so users don't have to manually type conda activate. So this is only read by shell, not by Python. That relies on okay. Install basic apt packages needed. Okay, this is we're just gonna install latest Mamba Forge. Clean up some unneeded files. This is the same. Okay, what else? Documented. Yeah, what's let me look at. I want to see what the -a argument is. Read line by line and execute apt-get install for each package, each line. Okay. Okay. So I mean, I think that's reasonable, right? Uh-huh. Document and vars. Oh, terrible commit message. Use no cache, not no cache dir to pip has been supported for a while now. Let's see if this is built. Hmm. Well, it's not building. My suspicion is something to do with this situation here. Just run and let's see if yeah, I just want to see what the environment. Yeah. Counter n, counter there. So what's happening? Hmm. This is permission denied. Doesn't tell me what it's denied for. Not that. I'm just debugging. See what is that I broke. Okay. It is so. Okay, what the fuck's happening here? Mm-hmm. Want to see it, what this is the other problem, right? When you have a huge set of bash files that are just separated out like this. I mean, there's like you don't. I actually don't know which of these lines is editing, right? I don't actually know where installer.sh permission denied is coming from. So let me just try go one. So I know right exactly which one is failing. See, this is why I don't like bash. So it just says one. So this is what's failing. Perfect. And I think that's because it's downloading it in home, and home is not owned by the correct user, I think. Let's see. See, it's not owned by the correct user. So let's see. Okay, now let's try this. La, 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 la. Yeah, I think that worked. Include that. Okay, let me just in this document the base image and minor cleanup. Add a lot of inline documentation to the base image, which is where almost all the magic is. And then use no cache instead of there in when installing with pip you want. What else did I do? Okay. Okay. Let's look at our env. Suspect. Oh, that's my env. Okay. It says Mamba not found, so that's usually a path problem. So we shall see what's happening there. Yeah, see, this is there's a problem here because NB Python prefix. Yeah, that explains that. Okay, so this is something I just learned. It looks like n can't yeah, it looks like you can't just reference things from the same setup. Is all right. All that reference other and vars need to be on and block. Okay. Yeah, I think that means this is not needed. I should have see like the command was already there, right? Like if I had properly looked at the output, I would have been able to see it then. Oh my god, I'm so jet lagged. Okay. Yeah, see, this is better. Yeah, I mean that explains the see, like I should have thought through why did that fail now and it was not failing before. And the obvious answer is that I changed the way the end blocks are running. And so I should have looked at that instead of trying to fix it, brute forcey with the with the Chon. So just fix that. Yeah, see the previous cover is not necessary, so I'm just gonna amend that. Log for ends that. Okay. Okay, this is not needed, so I'm just gonna never do git reset because I'm sure that I will fuck it. I'm sure I fucked it up. For service level with stash. Let me just tweet the PR as well, so that I'm gonna mark this as draft. And then okay. I don't know why it says only edit within this block. Let's see the tests. Let me just document this too. In base image Docker file are used to I'm just gonna put this everywhere. Oh, a binder is just Pangeo network. Oh, that's a good idea. Where is this called? Yeah, I think that would be hmm. How's that committed? This is a fancy shit. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. 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 Why do? Oh, hey Bash. I know exactly what to do. I'm going to replace this with a Python 5. Ah, isn't that bit? It's not. Okay. See, whenever you're looking at a bash file and you're like, oh, I want to do this thing and I can hack my way around it with temporary files and like shit, you just fuck it. Just rewrite in Python. Done. Generate human reader conda lock file. How is this called? Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna just use this. Like, uh, that's no. Yeah, let's use our pass like a real human being. Okay. Equals to default equals to Honda Linux 64. Okay. I don't know why it wants to keep converting them into. Anyway. Okay. Parse a single Honda lock line returns tuple of meme. Okay. Given something like this, should let's look at what bash does. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why this repo is intimidating for a lot of people. You know, bash is intimidating. Okay. Okay. Remove hash from the URL. So you can just say URL line.split. Right. Okay. Split. I think I can do r split to Okay. Then I'm just looking at this bash. Like, look at this ship. Like how it's all right, you mean. I think it's everything until the last dash. I think. I don't know if that's the case. Let's see. Split it. Let's look at something that has dashes. The perfect. Put on split or split 2. Package name, version, build. Full package names are form, package name, version, build. Since name can have dashes, use R split whole thing into 3 components, starting from the right. With open args.log file is F. Packages equals to sorted parse log line L for L and F. Print packages. This works. Python 3, generate package list. Pangeo notebook. Name equal to main. Better. Okay, what's happening here? Right. Lines equal to f dot read lines. print line 0. Let's see. It's I think this is the part where I will skip the first 4 lines, right? I can never tell. Great. Great. Perfect. Skip the first 4 lines. They only have metadata for package name, version, and okay. Hmm. Hmm. Oops. Oh, I should be talking, right? I forgot about that. Oh, I don't need to be talking. It's quite nice. But let's see why the default doesn't work. Parse default value argument. Hmm. Oh, kite.com, I hate it. I mean, they remember they snuck in bunch of telemetry to like I think the default Atom code complete plugin after buying it from the developer, and I don't know, they always just felt very fishy to me. Don't care. It's all right. We will just what do I do here? The Why isn't the default? Okay. Conda Linux 64. Oops. 64.log. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see that's not needed. Yeah, I think this should be a separate PR. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because it means the diff is going to be a bit more difficult to read. But I think, yeah, because I'm changing the format, right, from package dash version to package equals to version, which I think is a better format. But it does mean that diffs might be a bit more difficult to read. But anyway, let's see. The laptop is getting hotter. Okay, git stash, git checkout master, git pull upstream master. How long is the packages file? Git log list, git log list packages. What is this one? Okay. Uh, Okay. I know that I could have done this just in Bash, but no. Uh, let's just put up a line up front. See about where this file is coming from, why it exists. Without that, it was a bit confusing, as packages.txt is a secondary source, not a primary one. Provide packages.txt and produced by pipfreeze. Earlier, it was just in a format I haven't anywhere else. This does make diffs a bit more complex before and after the change, but I think it is worth it to be clearer. Okay. Okay. Push origin, package Python. Mm-hmm. Okay, I considered using I redid the script in Python rather than try to add this to the Bash version, because as sorting was happening after the script was run, it was difficult to prepend the comments about the source of packages.txt. So instead of adding more hackery to the bash file, I Python. It is also hence clearer. I think no weasel words, my friend. No more weasel words. Let's not weasel ourselves. You know, I was gonna do this for like a few minutes and then go and I don't know, eat or like go to the gym or something, but here I am. Okay. Key push origin package Python. Okay. Oh, very nice. Ah, Eric reviewed some of these things. Ooh, just is failing. Mm-hmm. Okay. But let's see why this is actually failing. Okay. Uh, it's failing. Why is it failing? I think it's failing because of this path. Mhm. Okay, because yeah. Okay, this should fix that. So Eric has left a comment. Mhm. Okay. Already this failed. Okay. This is fine. I always do this, this trading slash business. Uh-huh. Nice. Thank you, Eric. The uh yeah, apparently Eric had come and said hi. I only see Ryan. Oh my god. Oh, Greg. Hi, Greg. Wow, I've been going for like 2 hours or something. Okay. I mean, these are inline docs. I think these are helpful. But overall docs are also needed, I think. So let's see. Wait for the checks to pass, but let's see where. Yeah, on build. Mm-hmm. In only inherit from base image master. These on directives as if these on build directives are okay and inside. This lets us keep the Docker files, child notebooks, child Docker images simple, and customize them by just adding files with names to them. An example of when is triggered. Yeah, see, I think this is going to fail. Oh, this isn't going to fail. Okay. Let me see. Not sure if that makes it clearer or more confusing. Okay. But not by your notebook. That relies on us starting the correct Python process, which is mine, which we do by adding the conda environment it should be a notebook bin to path earlier. This thus when we start a Python process on notebooks, etc., it loads the Python in the notebook conda environment as that comes first here. Clarify how we load correct Python. I'm clearly starting to feel sleepy because I am just not actually explaining myself properly. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. I think I'm going to call this done. I'm going to mark this as ready for review. And I'm going to ask. I think when I'm done streaming, this should show up as a video, right? Yeah. Okay. Added as part of understanding in I am going to try to or a separate PR later. Yeah, because I think this provides details on what's actually happening, but I think it'll be useful to both add to the README and have separate docs that explain actually what the fuck's going on. Okay. Part of live leave. Okay. Done. Done. Okay, I think this is it. I'm going to go and eat and stuff, I think, and like wait for people to review the PR. Pretty jet lagged. That's very dry. But I should eat. Eat food. And I will come back. Yay. If anyone is watching this, thank you for watching this. This is actually a really good way for me to focus on a project for a long period of time and get stuff done, I think. So should do this more often.